Alrighty. Hello and welcome everybody to ORL Round 5 Tier 1 here around Suzuka. And as we get ready for qualifying action here, it is looking to be quite the full grid. We have 17 drivers. All of them will be fighting to the death of it for the win, I'm sure. But firstly, let's see how everyone can tackle this brilliant track here in Japan. So we have our usual competitors, SVYT and Abyss and Tyler. We also have Martin and Mahavir, Munri and Grateful Dog. So all of our main competitors through this season for the past 4 rounds are here again. So there will be no lack of competition here this afternoon. And yeah, with the way Suzuka is qualifying is always very, very important. Very hard to get overtakes done here. We've had some great moments at this track in particular in a few seasons of ORL. Season 1 obviously was a very, very big race for ORL around Japan. And obviously it's not going to be quite to this scale because obviously the championship fight isn't as big as it was back in Season 1 coming into this track. It's very early days still, but it will create a great race, I'm sure. So, first person to start a lap will be one of the Red Bulls. Or is it an RB? An RB. Wistra. So, we'll stay with him, stay off board, but yeah, it's looking likely that we'll see Abyss, Munri, or Martin probably fighting for pole. I've seen that all 3 of them are on similar pace, maybe Mahavir as well. SV, obviously, you can't count him out, but he's more of a race pace type of driver. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see plenty of action. Tier 2, just about an hour ago, was very highly chaotic. We already have 8 stewards reports, so hopefully Tier 1 gets through a bit cleaner. But Quistra invalidating before he even gets his lap going, so we'll move to Clammy Kid in the McLaren as he starts his lap, as he dives down into turn 1 and gets ready to tackle one of the trickiest but most satisfying section of corners in Formula 1, the S's. Left, right, and then flick it back across to the left again, flat out in this game, and then just a lift, dab of the brakes, get it across, and then flat out through this left-hander, and then the run towards the Degners as Type N TJ gets disqualified for blocking pit lane. So that is a very interesting way to get disqualified in qualifying, that he does get disqualified, and now Clammy Kid goes through the second of the Degners, and now heavy on the brakes into the hairpin, and then now flat out all the way until Spoon Curve, where you will want to get the nose pointed in, which is quite easy to do on this game, but still, you got to make sure not to go too heavy in. And he just nails it, gets to the outside curve, and then flick it across for the second part of the curve, and then exit curve on the right-hand side. And now flat out, all the way to one of the most iconic corners in Formula 1. Completely flat out left-hander. Fernando Alonso made a move here in 2005, that's right, it's 130R, sailing through it. Goes Clammy Kid, bit of traffic in his way, but he's not getting blocked in any sort of way. He negotiates past the Ferrari, and then now flat out to the line after he negotiated the chicane. It's a 28.6 to begin our qualifying session. So not a bad time already. We'll be fighting towards the top of the Div 2 pace, and obviously that'll only improve in Div 1, I'm sure. We'll find ourselves quicker than Div 2 by quite a margin, as SVYT in the Aston Martin is rounding the final couple of corners. Grateful Dog only a 28.6. As here we go, SVYT to the line, 1 minute 28.4 takes provisional pole in this session. As Munri then 28.2, shooting high already, and gets provisional pole off of SV just as quickly as SV got it himself. As Mahavir is on a lap in the Ferrari, the Prancing Horse is going to be running flat out all the way to Spoon. As Type N saying he was just trying not to impede people and he got disqualified. Yeah, it's unlucky, man, this game. It's just interesting. As Mahavir then just about keeps it on the track at Spoon. Definitely a bit of understeer, more than he would have liked. He'll probably get that sorted out before second run. But here we go. flat out through 130R, and then braking heavy just after 100 meters into the chicane, smack the first curb, smack the second curb, and then flat through the right, get the power down nice and early, and then it's a 27.9 for his first run. So already into the 27s in this section, and he has a 3/10 gap over the rest of the field. So Javier definitely shooting high in this qualifying session as Martin trying to do a opening lap on mediums. I'm still not sure why he does this. He's been having many qualifying struggles where he invalidates. You'd think if he's going to invalidate every single other run in his qualifying session, like he's just done there with the invalid on the mediums, why would he not just try to get a lap laid down on the soft compound tyre? Just so he has a quick lap to go off, but I guess not, and he invalidates, and that is very annoying for him, I'm sure, as Aiden's backed out at the S's. Dark in the Haas is about to finish his lap as Tata is 27.8, so he pits provisional pole for the moment. A fast lap from the Aston. So he's having a solid quali already with his banker. Dark to the line, 29.4, goes P8 for the moment. Abyss is getting ready to lay down a lap, but he hasn't quite got it underway just yet. Aiden, I thought he just backed out, but then, I don't know, he's going quick again. We'll come back to him a bit later on. There's a Glob Trip, just a little bit behind Abyss, but we'll go on board with our current championship leader. He's not feeling too well today, but I'm sure he'll still pull out a lap when he needs to. His first run in this qualifying session will be underway as he opens DRS and hits 8th gear already, stretching out the revs, 10,000 RPM and 318 k's an hour as he turns right, flat out through the first bit, dab of the brakes into the second bit, 4th gear, back on the power, and now left for for the S's, right for the S's, and then left again, nearly completely flat through this left, and then just a dab of the brakes, not even 5% on the input, and then flat out through the left, 6th gear already, overtake on, and then back down to hot lap. And now it's going to be absolutely flat through this right, and then just a dab of the brakes through the second part of the Degners. He hits the inside curb, and that just wormholes him in to the apex, so he would have lost a bit of time sliding there, but he hits the brakes down to 3rd gear as he gets ready for the run to spoon through the hairpin. He negotiated it nice and cleanly, bit of a lock-up on the front left, but nothing that won't buff out, because running wide can still get you an amazing exit through that camber hairpin. And then now, just a dab of the brakes, 5th gear, get it rotated, a lift off of the throttle, and then back on the power all the way to the right hand side curb, and then a long straight. No DRS here, which I always thought was a bit of an interesting decision. I think that DRS could create some even better racing going down through here, but the slipstream is already powerful as is. 7th gear flat out, just a kink in these modern day Formula 1 cars, and then braking at the 100. He goes down to 2nd gear. I think it was one shift too much as he did lock the rear, so probably was by mistake, but now to the line it's going to be a 1 minute 28.3, so P4. Not as strong as he has shown in previous races, but he always comes back in the next runs as Martin went P8 on his mediums with a 29.2. He just needs to get out there on the sauce. I don't know why he sits there fumbling around with the slow compound tyres. As Kuistra in the other RB is heading through the S's. And I'll just give you a rundown of your championship in a second. Let me just pull it up. Year 1 driver standings are as follows. Abyss is on 119 points, with 2nd place being SVYT with only 60 points, so double the amount of points Abyss has over SV, who will need to make a strong charge if he wants to be back in this. And then Zonix in the other RB, only 6 points behind SV, so it's nearly an RB 1-2 in the standing. And then Tata in P4, and then Keith in P5 on 24 points. Then you have Clemmy Kid in the McLaren with 18 points in 6th place, 95 points off the 101 points off the championship lead. And then you have Aiden is Raiden and Apokic, who's not qualifying in this race, who will be starting down the back in the Williams, is in P8, also 101 points behind the leader, same as Aiden's Raiden and Clammy Kid. They're all tied with 18 points, Apokic having 1 second place, and then Noodles as a reserve, also on 18 points. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars on level points with 18, so they'll be looking to switch that up this round, I'm sure. a pocket will find himself with points. Then you have Type N TJ 2 points behind them with 16. Martin also on 16. Then Grateful Dog on 12. Then you have Stig, Ladozi, Globdrip, Munry, and then some reserves in Italian Ramen. And then now we'll run your constructors. So Racing Bulls lead the championship with 173 points from 109. So it's a 64-point gap from Racing Bull to Aston Martin. And you have Haas with in third place with 39 points. So two teams clearly dominating this season so far, with the gap between the top two teams being smaller than the gap between second and third place. But then you have a very close battle from third all the way down to the bottom of the grid, only separated by about 12 points. Mercedes low in P8, despite having two drivers that have been up the front. Same with Red Bull, who have had some very close calls. Same with McLaren as well. They've had some close calls with brilliance in this season, but not able to pull it together. But that is your standings, and here we go. SVYT running it to the line. What's he going to manage here? He's going to get not quite into the 27s, a 3/10 improvement, nearly 4/10, and he improves to P4. And Abyss snatched the third place. He'd just gotten right off him with a 28.0. But I think he might be going again. No, he's not going again. He's just pushing on the in-lap to get around again. Tartar is 2/10 up. That would extend his lead by another 2. Obviously, Mahavir is on another run too. So, it is looking like it's going to be quite the shake-up to the end of this session. So, here he is, the Aston Martin driver, just punching just above his teammate, as he's going to get a slipstream there from the Alpine. Has to dodge quite aggressively out of the way, cut it a bit late. He's barely up. He was 2/10 up, so he's made a bit of a mistake somewhere in his lap. There's a... Oh no, why would you do that? As Keithy takes out the braking boards by diving onto the grass. Get out of the way. But all he's done is cause a nuisance for anyone not online. He extends his gap by... He's exactly a 10th over Mahavir, who's just started his next lap. So the Ferrari is going to have to find just over a 10th exactly if he wants to snatch provisional pole here in second runs. There's still one more set of runs to go. I'm sure Tata will find that 2/10s he had before. So Mahavir is going to have to push very, very hard to find the rest of the time he has before going into the final run, just so he makes it known that he's going to be competing here. Abyss also will want to find more time in his final run. But for the moment, we stay with the prancing horse as he prances up to the hairpin. And just dab the brakes, flicked his steering wheel in very aggressively. Bit of a lock-up as he has a snap on the exit. He's actually ghosted, so I'm wondering how much time he's actually lost from that, or if it's just aggressive ghosting there from the game. Ghosting isn't meant to be on in the first place, but anyway, he's still pushing, so clearly he actually hasn't lost that much time, but he invalidates at Spoon, and that puts Tata up here. He knows he has the advantage. He has the 10th over the top of Mahavir, who now has to find it all in his final run. The pressure will be built very, very high as Grateful Dog pulls into the pit lane after a mistake. Martin finally doing a run on the soft compound tyres. He's 4/10 up. Not sure if he runs line or not, but if he doesn't, he's going to be very much annoyed when he comes and finds that his braking board has been taken out by a Sauber. But braking around 100 meters, he clearly found his braking point either way. But here we go, round in the final corner. Will he place himself? No. He decides to come in and just abandon for a final run, which is fair enough. He speeds into the pit lane very aggressively. Ramen backs off. He might be going for a final run now, which would be an odd tactic. But the Sauber is on a lap. The person who took out the brake boards, who will be public enemy number 1 for anyone with no line, is going around. Car number 7 on a Sauber, definitely a nod to Kimi Räikkönen. He heads through the final section of the S is a little bit shallow into the corner. We'll scrub off just a little bit more speed than everyone else. Is he still pushing? No, he's a second down, so he won't be bothered. So he's the only one rounding around the track, so we'll stay with him, but he's not pushing. Actually, there is a McLaren. Climate Kid starting his final run very early. So we'll stay off board with the Papaya McLaren, and I'll turn off the HUD and give you guys a solid off-board lap. He made a mistake at the end of his lap, and he'll be kicking himself. Oh, he's gonna do a recharge lap. Everybody now is on outlaps, and I think we will go to Abyss later on. Who is closest to starting a lap? Is it Martin? No. Is it Ramen? No. Is it Dark? No. Let's look at the mini-map. How about that one? That'd be smart. It's one of the Mercedes. So, yeah, Munnery will be the first one to start final runs of the big pack of outlappers. Will go on board with the Silver Arrow as he rounds the final corner. Will he be able to place it up with the best? Will he find 4/10? It's going to be tricky for him. But DRS open, a bit of battery usage as we run all the way down to turn 1, and then flat out into 1, and then a dab of the brakes into 4, and then into 4th gear, and then flat out through turn 3, turn 4, and then turn 5, and then a little lift through the final section of the S's, and then flat through the left. Now, to approach the Degners, you've got to have some confidence and some know-how how much grip you have to get the turn in right, but he gets it beautifully. A 10th up on his time, so he needs to find 3 more if he wants to go for pole, but I'm sure he'd be happy with anywhere in the top 5, as would any driver. As he gets down to 2nd gear and then smashes the power, overtake enabled on the exit, and then back down to hot lap, and then flat out all the way on the run to spoon. He actually goes out and then back in instead of holding tight like most drivers would do, probably costing him a few hundreds. The dab of the brakes all the way out to the curb, using all of the track at his disposal as he goes out to the AstroTurf on the exit. He's giving it everything he has. Overtake enabled all the way down the straight here, and then disables it for hot lap as he runs into 130. Oh, he's 5/10 up. This would be enough for pole position if he can just bring it home. The Silver Arrow looking quite pacey out there. He's just got the chicane to negotiate. Will he be able to snatch provisional pole here in this qualifying session? Will it be enough for Munnery? Will he break it? Will he get provisional pole? Yes, he can. By 3 thousandths, he beats Tata, and Tata's not improving, so it's down to Mahavir here, but we'll go to Abyss as he approaches the hairpin. So, the Silver Arrow strike back after some poor opening runs. Grateful Dog still on his run, so we'll see if he can improve. But Abyss is trying to bring home a very nice lap here in the RB as he approaches Spoon. He's going to have to give everything he has if he wants to topple pole position. We've seen him do it in final runs in the past though, but he makes a mistake and he has a car spin in front of him. Surely the most distracting thing you can see on a racetrack when you're on a qualifying lap. But now, he just has a couple more corners to negotiate. He's a 10th up. It won't be enough unless he finds some time at the chicane. Definitely some mistakes there are going to cost him pole position if he doesn't get it. But 3rd gear, through, over both of the curves, to the line, a bit of a snap. Will it be provisional pole? Will he take pole? Yes, he can! Abyss finds the time at 27.7, and then Tata, 27.6, flat out of nowhere. Mahavir doesn't improve. SV is cutting the final couple of corners. Grateful Dog doesn't find too much time, but he finds a bit. Kuistra's in the grass, and Tata and Abyss improve. Tata takes pole. Abyss snatches a front row at the last moment. It looked like it was gonna be not good enough for Abyss, but he took it. And then Tata said, no, I might have been down a 10th in the first sector. Doesn't mean I can find it back later. And he snatches pole in the Aston. It's like Singapore all over again. So he takes pole by nearly 0.2 of a second in the Aston. Then the V-carb of Abyss, we see him shooting up high constantly. And he takes P2. He's won every race of the season so far. Will he continue that trend? We'll find out. Then Munnery rounds starts the second row. Then Mahavir, SV, Grateful, Martin, Ladozi, Aiden, Clemmy Kid, Kuistra, Keithy, Dark, Italian Ramen, Tyler, Globdrip, and Taipan round out your grid. That is your grid for the race here in Japan for Tier 1. And as we get ready to go to the lights, it is going to be an action-packed one. Will Abyss continue his win streak? Will Tata get in the way? Maybe even one of the Mercedes or SVYT? Will he finally get his maiden win of the season? We'll have to see. It's all to find out. But I am going to shut up until we go to the lights because I need to have a sip of water. Right, as we come to 5 red lights here in Japan. It's lights out, and away we go here. Abyss got a great start, so did Tata, but Abyss is going to try pull alongside, can't quite do it, but Munry has gotten the start of dreams. He takes the outside. Will he get it done around the outside of Abyss? It looks like he has got it done. He moves up into P2 already on the medium tyres. He's going to have to make good use of them. If he wants to make it into the lead, he's going to have to use those medium tyres. Couple of drivers wheel to wheel up the back there. Ladozi holding place. Aiden is Raiden, just making a little mistake, and now Clammy Kid's up his inside. There's a little bit of contact, and oh no, there's a spin. The McLaren's round. It causes chaos up the field. A couple of cars spun around. Clammy Kid having the worst of it. Same with Aiden as Raiden. I think the McLaren picked up some damage, but as we continue through lap 1 here, Globe Drift on the inside of Type and TJ gets that one done into the Degners the first time through into the hairpin. Will Munry go for it? No, he won't. But Lord Mahavir has gone up the inside of Abyss. As we head towards Spoon, couldn't quite get it done. And now as we head towards Spoon, will he get it done here? Will he be impatient? Will Mahavir go for it? No, he waits another day, but he's also one of 2 cars up in this top 5, top 4 on the medium tyres. SVYT also sitting back and waiting for his moment to pounce. Martin in P6 on the hard compound tyres, and then Grateful Dog on the mediums. Will the Mercedes make a move on the Ferrari as quick as he probably likes? Probably not. But he will have to close up soon as there is a fight for the lead here. Munry on the outside gets the inside for the next part of the chicane. Swaps around. He gets that one done, and Munry taking the lead in the Silver Arrow. This allows Abyss back into it as well. He's already used his entire tank of battery in that RB, and he's going to find he's dragging down in a straight line now as he doesn't have the engine power. But he has to back off, wait another day. He's going to have to save battery somewhere. There's only one big braking zone on this entire circuit, so he's going to have to put into none there to have a go back at it. But this race already sizing up to be a great one. It's only lap 2 of 27. But Munry taking the lead. This is one of the only times this season so far he's been able to take it as... Oh no, Mahavir nearly spun it around SVYT. Now might have a run at him as we head towards the Degners once again. No, Martin saw a spot around the outside of SV though. Couldn't quite get that one done as Grateful Dog tried to get the inside of Martin. A ballsy move there for him to try and pull off, and it doesn't pay dividends for him. He falls down the order. Ladozi in P7, and now Kuistra has a go at Grateful Dog. He's just tumbling down the field in the Mercedes. Not his greatest start. He's going to have to find his way back into it at one point or another. Keithy in P10 is slowly closing up to the back of Kuistra in the Sauber as well. So Keithy had a reasonable start. Tyler already making his way from the back up to P11. Type and TJ following him through, but he is 1.9 seconds back. So we'll go to Tyler as he's trying to make a move on Keithy. Doesn't have the straight line speed, but here in the slipstream, he is now gaining as they head through 130R. Will he go at the inside of the chicane? It looks like he might do. No, he stays behind for the moment as Type and TJ makes a move on Clammy Kid. Oh no, sorry, Clammy Kid was trying to make a move on Type and TJ as Munry. Fastest lap of the race. He's shooting high here. He wants a win. He wants to be the one to take the crown off of Abyss just for one round as Ladozi makes it move up into the top 6 past Martin. The Alpine not slowing down. So he is having a very solid beginning to this race. His Grateful Dog now trying to get involved once again, but he's also still under pressure from Kuistra. The Mercedes driver had a big topple down the order, and now he's trying to find his way back. He's trying to find his way to where he was before. And Ladozi and Martin are his ticket right back into it as they fight away. But they have dropped away from that main top 5 pack who are all sitting together. As there's a yellow flag up the back. Who is it? I think it's Italian Ramen. Yes, it is. He's had a moment in the Williams, not his brightest moment. As we go back to the battle here. Grateful Dog still trying to put pressure on Tyler. Makes it move on Keithy up the inside of the hairpin. They're now going to have a run wheel to wheel as they head through towards Spoon. Keithy giving him the squeeze all the way to the outside. The Sauber giving him not an inch. But here we go. Tyler, there's a hand up there. There's a bit of contact. But Tyler gets through. And now, now he's going to be right behind Kuistra as we head towards 130R. Keithy trying to get involved again as well. But Tyler gets that move. Makes it stick. It says yellow flag again. It is Globstrip in the Red Bull who had a moment, and he's going to topple down the order. Tyler not having the straight line speed to drag it, but there's a virtual safety car. Not sure exactly what for. I think Globstrip staying slow down the straight, losing a wing. So that is our first full course yellow of the race. We'll move back up to the lead because this is where it can get dicey between the leaders. Abyss, P3, needs to make up 2 more places if he wants to return to his usual top step. But right now, this is looking like it could be the first round where Abyss has been matched. People have made it up to his pace. Obviously, he's not feeling well, but still, he has some competitors. He's got to stay focused. Will he take the win again? It's all we're going to be asking, but it would be great to see someone else up on the top step for once. Munnery has a 1.2 second lead in that Mercedes. It's fluctuating because of the VSC, but definitely he won't be too disappointed with that. He will be hards on the second stint, but the hard tyres get faster as you go on. That's how little they wear. It's as the fuel comes out, it all changes. But Tata messed up the delta. That's why he closed so much up to Munnery. I was wondering why the gap was 3/10, but he gets a drive-through penalty. So that's very hurtful for his race, but all the leaders are clumped up together once again. SB is going to have to make a move on his teammates soon enough. But Lord Mahavir now is trying to get involved on Abyss. The gap is only 5/10 between them now, so the slipstream closing up. Munnery got the restart wrong. Tata got it even more wrong though and sped. The delta not on his side. That drive-through will very much hurt him. As there's a safety car. I don't know why. The safety car comes out. That helps Munnery. Munnery can box for hards now and go to the end. If he wants to. I'd suggest he does. But, yeah, it definitely changes up this race. The hard tyre runners have to stay out. They can't make the end on mediums. Will Munnery come in? We'll go on board with the Silver Arrow. No, he dummies it. But Abyss does come in, surprisingly. On the hard compound tyre. He can't make the end on medium, so he's going to try and make a medium soft work, I guess. As, yeah, there we go. Yellow striped tyres in the box of the RB garage. But yeah, very surprising for any sort of hard tyre runners to come in, but half the grid comes in. And that's very surprising for me. I think Munnery, of all drivers, should have come in though. I think it's very silly that he didn't, but he'll try and make it work. But yeah, very, very surprising to not see a person on medium tyres come in. Still not sure why the safety car came out, but Globdrip might have something to do with it as he's still trying to trundle around with no wing. I'm not sure why he hadn't come in though, so I'm not sure what he's doing in that Red Bull. We'll go back up to the front, and we'll pull up the tyre graphic. So, we have Munnery down to Ladozi. All of those medium runners didn't come in. I thought hards would be for sure the play, but he decides not to. Then we have Martin on the hard, stays out as expected. Then Kuistra all the way down to Tata on mediums, but Abyss and Tata on fresh mediums. Tata obviously having to start that drive through after the safety car, so his position's a bit redundant right now, and that safety car couldn't have come at a worse time because now he's going to drop all the way to the back no matter what he does with that drive through. And Grateful Dog down to Aiden, all on hards till the end. I know why Munnery didn't come in. Now, he didn't want to double stack with his teammate, so he didn't want to hurt Grateful Dog. So maybe a bit of team play going on there in the Mercedes garage. So, Mahavir will put the pressure on Munnery, no doubt. We've seen them race a few times last round, so we'll see how this ends up. Mercedes safety out the front of the grid leading them away. We might see quite a lot of that in real life Spa tonight. Anybody in chat care to weigh in on that? We could see quite the Grand Prix tonight. I think that it's going to be a very strong race for a few drivers, but obviously you can never count out the fastest person in qualifying yesterday. Max Verstappen set a very, very quick time, and with a 10-place grid penalty, but a fresh engine, he'll be a rocket ship in a straight line. So I'm sure we'll see him make some moves and maybe even try take the win. Then obviously you have Sergio Perez fighting for his seat in that other Red Bull seat. And obviously he's at threat from Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda, or maybe even Liam Lawson here coming into the halfway point. I think that qualifying might have secured him his seat because for some reason Red Bull decided that even though he's been in the car like the last 4 races and been out in Q1 and out qualified by Logan Sargent in a Williams, that they're going to wait until Spa, and if he does well at Spa, he might very well just keep his seat, and he's just done a good job in quali. So yeah, I think it's very interesting from Red Bull. I don't think Perez should even have a seat on the grid in Formula 1, but he's fighting for it, and he proved when only when his seat is desperately on the line, he can show up. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does. Maybe he can take the win, but Charles Leclerc, you can't discount him. He's starting on pole position. Obviously, the Spa and Monza run together after the summer break. Monza will be the track we go to. But as the famous line goes from 2019 from Crofty, he won in Spa, he wins in Monza. Will we see it once again? Probably not, as the Ferrari is not quick in a straight line, and I don't think Ferrari will get the strategy right somehow tonight. 11 o'clock at the time in AEST, so I'll be tuning into that one. Yeah, a couple of things. Lewis Hamilton also starting P3, looking for a 201st podium. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be gunning to get it. Obviously, when is he not? 7-time world champion, always keeping his head high when he can, and he's been on a good run of form recently. George Russell didn't have a great qualifying though, and he's starting a bit further down. Yeah, not too many other big talking points outside of that, and I mean, there was Daniel Ricciardo nearly making Q3. He was matching Perez until the death of it, and then just got knocked out just at the end of Q3. So did Perez, though. Perez nearly got knocked out too. So it's a close one between those guys. Obviously, those two battling for the seat, but the fact that Daniel and RB nearly made Q3 and Perez barely made it definitely speaks volumes. But then Perez showed up in Q3. So, Daniel will try and have the strongest race he can. Yuki Tsunoda also starts from last on the grid with a 60-place grid penalty, replacing most of his engine. So, yeah, he has some work to do. But Spa is definitely the track to take it. There's so many overtaking opportunities. You have down into Les Combes because of the Camel Straight. You have down into Turn 1. The run up to the bus stop as well. You can have a discount, a late lunge at Spa at the bus stop after Blanchimont. Yeah, there's a couple of factors that go into tonight's race, but I think it'll actually be a good one given the way this season's going so far. The safety car should be in at the end of this lap here. Back to our race. Let's focus on it here at Suzuka. On the F1 game. And yeah, it'll look like it's going to be a good one. Henry will lead us away. 6 laps on those mediums already. 27 lap race. Be looking to pit in a few laps time. Probably around lap 12 to 15, I'd say. But definitely you want the hards going longer, but as I suspected, safety car in at the end of this lap, and we'll go on board with Mahavir as he tries to chase down the Silver Arrow. When he goes is the biggest question. He's weaving away, leading the grid away at about 120 k's an hour. The speed scrubbing off from the weaving though, as we head towards the chicane. When will Munnery bolt? When does he decide to get away? He goes now, and he gets it done cleanly. He doesn't spin like I did all the way back in Season 1. And he gets us back underway. They have a big gap, an 8/10 gap to the cars behind, and Mahavir thinks about going for it. He's right underneath the rear wing of Munnery as we head through the first 2 corners. I bet they stay behind single file for now, but that won't be the last of it. SVYT sitting 7/10 back, had an absolute snoozer on the restart. So he'll have to make up time, but with those two battling in front and being in dirty air, he'll close up in no time, as my camera button doesn't want to work. Why can't I swap? Oh, no, there we go. Alright. Ladozzi is in P4 in the Alpine because of a couple of pit stops. He's having a pretty good race there for the French team. As much... Oh, as we see Kuistra, a massive move there. 2 drivers get Martin at once, and Tyler moves up into the top 5, gets it past Kuistra. Kuistra got past Martin. So Martin must have made a huge error there at the Degners. There's a bit of contact there. Kuistra went into the back of a pocket, but nothing too major as we see Clammy Kid trying to get involved. Nearly contact between the Ferrari and the McLaren as we head down into Spoon. Clammy Kid trying to get it done. A bit of contact. Martin goes off the track. So does Clammy Kid as we head through the second part of Spoon. There's still wheel rubbing as they go wheel to wheel on the exit. And Clammy Kid is going to try and now get him down the straight as Munnery loses the lead, but we're going to stay with these two as they're going to go wheel to wheel nearly into 130. Oh, Clammy Kid clears them for the moment. We'll now head back up to Munnery as Lord Mahavir got it done at the flat-out left kink on the straight, but now Munnery has a run at him. DRS enabled, not quite on this lap as Dark disconnects from the race, but as we head down into turn 1, will Munnery go for it again? No, he's going to wait for the next lap, use the DRS to his advantage, but as we move back down, it's now Abyss versus Martinez. There's a virtual safety car. Who was ahead between the two of them? It was Abyss who gets that done very, very quickly. He's moving his way back up through the grid. He got the move done on the Ferrari. Now he has a couple of cars still to go, but a virtual safety car being deployed. I'm not sure for what reason. I think it was Globdrip again having a moment. He does not like this track at all, it seems. The Red Bull causing carnage for everyone. But that's like our third VSC along with the safety car. We could be out of safety cars. So that could be an interesting factor to weigh into all the drivers that haven't pitted so far. But we'll move back up to these two as they will get fighting in a few moments' time once we go all green again, but still under yellow flag conditions for the moment. Okay, now we get underway again. DRS enabled, green flag running, everybody will be fighting again, but SV again napping on a restart. SV a second behind the two leaders, but gets just back within DRS range for a good luck for him there as he closes back up, just due to a bit of a bad exit from the two of them as they headed out of Spoon. But SV will be trying to get back involved as they do yellow flag again. Globdrip causing yellow flag, so he's truly having a shocking race. But SV is now right there, only 3 turns back, so he must have used all of his battery as Globdrip is causing yellow flags everywhere. And another VSC, that is for sure the last safety car. We have Munnery dives into the pit lane, Mahavir dives into the pit lane. Everybody on those mediums should be diving into the pit lane. That will mean Abyss goes out and takes the... What am I saying? What am I saying? What am I seeing? No, he's back in the pit lane. Okay. That was an interesting bug there. Just an average F1 24 moment. But Munnery will come out fresh hards, green flag running just as he gets out of the pit lane, so he gets the time. But now, he's on a charge. Abyss is in P2, and Tyler's the only one in front of him not to have pitted. Abyss will make quick work of him. The two that fought it out in Singapore find themselves on the same space of track together once again. As Tata in the Aston is only 9 tenths behind Abyss on the same lap, but still, I don't know if he's even had time to serve his drive-through, but Globdrip causing problems, and I'm sure we're at the max safety car limit, so very, very annoying for anybody who hasn't pit yet, and I feel bad for them, but I'm not sure as to what Globdrip is doing. Surely he's retiring in the pit lane here, right? I mean, he's basically a lap down at this point. Is he retiring in the pit lane? It does not look like it, so Globdrip just, interesting tactics from the Red Bull. It's pulling the Ferrari strategy. So, Munnery still trying to create chase, but we'll go to Abyss as he's right up behind Tyler. 6 tenths. Tyler won't give him a fight here. It's old mediums versus new mediums. As Tyler gets disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty. I thought it was a bit odd that he hadn't served it yet, and he stayed out one too many. He should have came in. He doesn't. Disqualified from the race and sentenced to last place. And that's one competitor for Abyss to fight out of the equation. As we see Globdrip is about to be lapped, and he now is a lap down. Keithy now inherits P4. Grateful Dog in P3 with those hard tyres that can go to the end. I'm sure he'll be happy with his selection of tyre. He will easily make it to the end. And with the max safety cars, you've got to think Abyss will be struggling to make it to the end. The mediums have very high wear around this track, whereas hards don't have much at all. But Grateful Dog picks up the first track limits penalty of the race, so he'll be hurting from that, and very annoying for him. So Keithy now moves up into P3. Grateful Dog tries to fight it back, can't quite get that one done though. And we'll move back up to Abyss versus Tyler, as I'm sure Abyss will just clear him and sail away. Right now, it's looking like it's his race, but he's also been on those medium tyres for like 6 or 7 laps, and still has 16 to go. So there's a yellow flag again from Globdrip. So, Abyss stays behind into the chicane as we head to the straight. I'm sure he just wanted to dose of the DRS so he can very much clear him as Tyler actually comes into the pit lane. He gets a 10-second for speeding, so he hurts his race even more. After staying out under multiple safety cars and multiple virtuals and a safety car, he now gets a 10-second as icing on the cake. Grateful Dog overtakes Keithy back into turn 1. So Keithy's gonna have to sit behind again in the Sauber as we head through the S's. I don't think it's too much of a worry as it's too early in the race to be fighting as Martin sets fast lap of the race with a 1 minute 30.9. So he is pacey out on the track, but he's also up the back in P14. So, a couple of cars here as Tyler came out just behind Aiden. There's no real trains forming, but Grateful Dog versus Keithy versus Taipan seems to be the battle to watch. We'll stay off board with these three as they continue to scrap it out here for the honours of the podium. Grateful Dog with his 3-second though is at the back of them right now, but Dark then behind them is out of his 3-second range. So Grateful Dog sitting P4 provisionally right now as Munry moves back into the top 5. He was leading the race for a great portion of the start before he came in for new hard tyres under the VSC. He has to chase down Abyss. He's got to get this one right. Abyss is trying to use all of his pace to pull away because surely, it's not even a surely, it's basically a guarantee that RB has to come in for another pit stop, in which time he'll have, as he does a 30.0, just solidifying his pace there, but in which time he'll have fresh tyres compared to Munry's hards. So it's going to be a chase down then, because there's no way Abyss can get those tyres to the end. As Keithy moves back up into P2, what can you expect with the dose of the DRS down the straight? But yeah, Munry has to close, very much so. He has to overtake these cars, crucially, as these guys on the hards can get to the end of the race. Obviously, he's not too bothered about getting past his teammate, but he will want to get past Keithy and Taipan ASAP. But with one more stop, I don't see a way that Abyss gets this to the end. Hats off if he can. It's a very Alex Albon Australia performance, but I don't think it is even possible without puncture. But he's going to give it his best go, unless he already knew he was coming to a 2-stop when he boxed onto the mediums, as Mahavir now gets past Dark and is only 2.9 seconds behind Munry, his fellow competitor in this race. Same compound of tyres, same box laps. It's just a 3-second gap between them, so maybe a bit more traffic problems for Mahavir here. So we'll move to this fight once again as the yellow flag glob drip goes off again. He's already a lap down. He's probably shooting for 2, but there's no way another safety car can come out in this race, as he definitely hit the limiter for sure. I think there was about 4 or 5 virtual and safety cars, so I don't think we can see another full course yellow in the rest of this race as he causes another yellow. Actually, that's not him. Italian Ramen spins this time. Never mind. I was completely wrong. Safety car deployed. Grateful Dog comes in. Munry will be spewing. This helps Abyss significantly, and it all goes to shambles. But Munry into the pit lane. What tyre can he even go to? He only just boxed for hards. Mediums. Does he have another fresh set, or is he going back to his starting set? I'm not sure, but he jumps all of the cars in that train there. Let's quickly pull up the tyre graphic now, as that is crucial. He has got fresh mediums. I'm not sure where he's gotten the fresh mediums from, but he'll have mixed emotions about that, as will a few drivers up and down the grid. Just as I was saying, I don't think there can be another safety car because there was about 4 or 5 out. We see a safety car, but Abyss will be elated as he will come out comfortably in the lead over the rest of the grid, and he gets fresh tyres for the pleasure. So the safety car just plays into his hands, and right now it's looking like he might come to another win then. Munry is going to have so many moves to make. He has to get past Martin again. Kami Kid and Ladozi stayed out, but that's because they still need to come in. But Munry has plenty of moves he's going to have to make. So he's got to get past his teammate, Taipan TJ, Keithy. If any of these guys don't pit in front of him, he has to negotiate them as well. The fight for the win is well and truly on between a few of these drivers up and down the grid. I'd say Abyss, Grateful Dog, Martin, Munry and Mahavir are your main competitors. Oh, don't discount SBYT either. It's going to be a good fight for the win here, but a lot of overtakes are going to have to be made for everybody to slot into the right place. But Abyss comes into the pit lane. He'll come onto a set of hard tyres, I'm sure. Because there's no way Sloth can make the end, and I doubt he has another set of mediums. He's gonna have to go back to his starting set of hard compound tires. No, he has another set of mediums. How many sets of mediums do these guys have? I swear, they've all got 2 or 3 sets. But, Abyss, medium tires for him, and he'll easily make it to the end, just like the rest of them. And he comes out, good couple seconds in the lead. Clammy Kid came in. Ladozi, though, just sacrificing his race, staying out. I mean, he's easily going to make the end, don't get me wrong, but he won't have pace. Same with, oh no, Martin did come in. So, let's see how many overtakes Munry will have to make to be back in the fight he was in before. Munry's in P5, so he has to jump Taipan, his teammate, and Ladozi to get to Abyss, in which time Abyss will pull away a few seconds up the road. 12 laps to go. Safety car is out. A couple of drives in this. It's going to be Munry, Mahavir, and SV. They can't battle with each other. If they actually want to play this smart and try and get a win here, they have to not battle each other and just overtake everyone in front of them one at a time. But we'll stay with Abyss. I need to go grab some water. I'll be back in a second. Alrighty. Here we go for racing once again, as Tyler has been hurt by his 10-second penalty. We get ready to go racing once again. This time, back to usual proceedings. Abyss leading the way. So, when's he gonna take us away? He has Ladozi behind him, so he has a bit of a buffer. But here we go. We're underway for racing again. Ladozi immediately slots into his slipstream. Monry gets past his teammate and takes P3. Mahavir's trying to split the middle. It's 3 wide down into turn 1. Mahavir gets a double overtake. And what a move it was from him. Grateful Dog takes back P4 over his teammate. As that 3 wide moment was very sketchy, but Ladozi causing a roadblock. He only has half a wing on his car. And that has meant Grateful Dog can close right back up. They have to get the moves done nice and early, as this is just creating a massive gap for Abyss, who will be loving this. With 10 laps to go, he's going to have a few seconds of leeway, and I'm sure he'll be laughing in the lead. As Monry still trying to find a way past his teammate, as Mahavir tries to find a way past Ladozi, who's not giving it up easy. That's Mahavir sliding around on the exit. Monry get past his teammate, now has a run as SVYT also jumped Grateful Dog. He also still has that 3-second time penalty, only a person with one still up and down the grid. And Mahavir just not being able to get past the roadblock that is the Alpine of Ladozi, and there we go. He's through as Ladozi cuts across the racing line mid-corner to the cut-off Monry. As here we go, they're going to be racing each other down the straight in the slipstream. Ladozi's trying to get it back down the 130R as he's just causing all loads of chaos. And now SV on the outside of 130R gets past Monry, who now tries to go the inside of Mahavir as Monry gets back past him again. There's carnage up the front. It's like tier 2 all over again, but without the spins. As now SV jumps Monry, is now in the slipstream of Mahavir, who's going to try the outside at turn 1. He goes all the way around the outside, gets it done, there's contact. Mahavir half spins around, keeps it together, goes right in front of Clammy, who now goes off the track with damage and rejoins into Martin. And Martin is in the wall, no wing. He gets caught out unlucky in all of this, and it's kicking off here in tier 1. All because of one car refusing to give up, just gifting Abyss the win. The Alpine driver causing all loads of chaos. He's trying to go up the inside of the Degners. As Monry now up into P2, but you've got to think Abyss has this one easily tucked away under his fingers. 5 seconds the gap, all because Ladozi is refusing to give it up with half a wing. I mean, I think it's very much stupid driving as he's causing all worlds of chaos, but from his perspective, it's just trying to get a good result. Right now, he's still holding the podium places with an SV. Right in behind him will be the next person to try and get past. As we see SV right up underneath his rear wing. Gonna be quiet for this one, as I'm just gonna hold my breath. Well, there we go. SV and Mahavir finally both get through, but that hurt them significantly. There's a yellow flag up the back. Tyler has had an incident, whether it was on his own or with another car, it's to be seen. Aiden is raiding in the Haas, now makes a move up past Ladozi, who's stopped fighting his hard now Clammy Kid. And the person who was affected by all this is Tyler just decides to retire in the pit lane with his damage. Fair enough from the Williams driver. But here we go. Clammy Kid right behind Ladozi. Wing damage versus wing damage. The person on fresh mediums versus old hards. The person who caused this damage is right in front of him. And it's all kicking off. Monry not able to close on Abyss at this moment, so Abyss definitely has this tucked away with 8 laps to go. As we see Kuistra now wheel to wheel with Keithy on the exit of the second Degner, but here we go, Clammy Kid right around the outside of Ladozi. As Ladozi, they make contact. Taipan TJ benefits, get past. There's 3 wide on the exit. That's Clammy Kid on the grass. Taipan on the left. Ladozi in the middle. It's all kicking off. Ladozi definitely showing some very, very poor racecraft here. Not what you want to be seeing at all. But he's defending for his absolute life as Clammy Kid off the track again. Ladozi trying to get past again. He cuts off Kuistra on the exit as Clammy Kid goes off again. He's in absolute shambles in this Grand Prix as he rejoins back onto the track. Right next to Dark. And he's dropped all the way to the back. You've got to feel bad as Abyss continues to stretch his lead. But we'll go back to SVYT as they head down towards turn 1. Will Mahavir get a move on here on SV? Or will SV get a move on Monry, or maybe even both? As we head down towards turn 1, Monry trying his best to hold station, and he does hold station. Same with Mahavir on SV, as we see Ladozi just pull into the pit lane and retire. After causing all of that chaos, he has multiple penalties coming his way, no doubt about it at all. and now he just retires in the pit lane. So, yeah, some interesting calls there from the Alpine driver. But anyway, we'll pretend like that never happened, at least until the stewards reports. As SV 5/10 behind. Aiden is Braden sticking with these guys. Not a driver you'd expect to be up here, but he is up here, and it's great to see. His Grateful Dog has had an absolute shambles of a restart, by the way. He's down in P14, still not even past Ladozi, who retired in the pit lane yet. So he had a shocking restart. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I wasn't paying too much attention, but Abyss continues to pull away. What a fight it would have been, though, because they're such similar pace here. You can see it's only been a couple of tenths over a couple of laps. Abyss would have had a fight cut out for him, but now he doesn't, just because of one driver who's kind of thrown the P1 fight all the way. That doesn't mean we won't have a good fight for P2, though, as SV thought about going for it at 130R, so did Mahavir. But they both slot in behind. Wait for turn 1, I think. No, SV dummies the inside, as though that's Mahavir onto the grass and off the track, as he rejoins just in front of Aiden, but he's going to drop back nearly past the second, 8/10 back, and now SV is going to have a stab at it down into turn 1. Monry versus SV as they go wheel to wheel. Monry is not going to fight this one. He's going to wait for next lap or the next straight. He finds an opportunity to get through, but SV off into P2 for the moment as Monry tries the outside, actually, as SV made a mistake. But those two battling cleanly. These two, great racecraft between the two of them. And then Mahavir trying to get involved now too, as we'll go on board with him for a couple of corners. Oh, as Martin crashes at the S's. He's out of the session. No more safety cars available in this race, so as seen now, finally, it actually is. Massive amount of safety cars. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. Mahavir tried the inside at 130. Oh, now he has the outside for the chicane. Martin leaves the session. Hopefully that bugs no one out like it has done prior. As here we go, Mahavir trying to get a move done. He switches underneath. SV has a good gap here. That'll be reversed under the safety, not under the safety car, under the DRS effect. Monry's not very close. There's Aiden and Raiden goes like the inside of Mahavir. He thinks about getting involved. He's not normally with these guys, but he's found himself with this opportunity ahead of him, and he's not going to let it go to waste as he's trying to fight with these guys as they all fight away. Abyss, in the meantime, just pulling away as Ramen gets a 10-second of speeding in the pit lane. Is he retiring in the pit lane like his teammate too? I don't actually think so. But Raiden definitely trying to make the most of an opportunity that's very rare come by him. Monry 4/10 behind SV. This will be the fight until the end, but he makes a mistake as we see Keithy go off into the grapple in the background. Oh no, actually it was Kuistra. Anyway, Monry will be fighting for his life here. So, this is the fight for P2. SV versus Monry versus Mahavir, and even Aiden involved, and Keithy's closing up too. So, could be a potentially 5-way fight soon, with Taipan would actually get involved in that case too. So, this is a big train for the P2 fight. And we love to see it, but this could have been the P1 fight. Just think about that one without Commissioners. Oh no, a couple of 3-second time penalties. SV spins at the chicane. He spins off, he picks up the throttle too early, he's in the gravel, and his race falls away from him at the death of it. 5 laps to go, and it's all gone pear-shaped. And now, he is all the way down in P8, and he will be spewing. But Monry picked up a 3-second penalty in the midst of that as well. So did Raiden, so the 3-second time penalty is finally starting to show up. As we're going to go to our race director and see if Mahavir has any warnings. So he has 1 warning, 2 warnings. So he's on 2 warnings. He is cutting this very, very close. Mahavir needs to just stay out of trouble. Keithy right now is actually looking quite good without a penalty too. Mahavir on the edge of it though. Surely he might get a penalty at some point, track limits. But we'll have to see. SVYT made a move on Kuishka back up into P7. Now he has 3.7 seconds to chase Type in TJ. I don't know if he'll be able to do that with 4 laps to go or not. Here we go, this is the fight for P2, Mahavir gets past Munro. Sorry, I just have food in my mouth. I'm trying to eat because I actually haven't eaten all day. That wasn't smart of me. Just bear with me a second. Right, I've now finished my food. Anyway, Munro, a 10th behind Mahavir. Trying to swap again. This is the fight for P2. Mahavir, still no penalty though. So Munro's just got to put the pressure on. I don't even know if he'll want to overtake him at this point. I think he wants to dummy and overtake and just put the pressure on and wait for Mahavir to get a penalty before he starts fighting. Aiden, though, also hoping that Mahavir gets a penalty too. Keithy's sitting 2.3 seconds back from this train. This definitely could be interesting as the 3-second time penalties start to come in, but Munro having to defend a little bit there because of Raiden putting the pressure on. But Aiden definitely showing when he gets given the opportunity to fight, he will not give it up. Is he staying with these guys like it's his life? But here we go, Munro on the inside of Mahavir. No contact, cleanly through. Back up into P2. But Mahavir still sitting penaltyless and trying to fight back against Munro. Aiden sitting behind him though. Maybe the house driver will try go for a move instead of sitting back like he has been as Munro. Massive snap. His oversteer setup definitely not going to be kind to these medium tyres here. 2 laps to go. Abyss is going to pick up another win for sure, but the fight for P2 still rages on. Henry just got to watch his back. He's got to watch his mirror. As Type N TJ actually got past Keithy. The gap's only 1.9. Those guys don't have penalties. So right now, Munro will be back in P5 after penalties. And Aiden will be back behind Keithy. So maybe these guys need to stop fighting and try pull away. Except for Mahavir, who will want to slow them both up so they lose positions. These Irish Championship rivals at the end of the day. But no penalties is coming into play for Type N and Keithy. Very much so. So this is going to be the battle to watch until the end. Mahavir really needs to get a penalty if Munro is to get a P2. And still they'd need to pull away from Type N TJ and Keithy. But those two aren't as fast as these three. But it's just these three are fighting. So that is going to come into it. But Munro now is going to be on the defense. How will he try and defend? I don't think he's going to try and defend at all. Aiden might even have a go at him here. Actually, Munro is trying to use a little bit of battery, but still lets him go. Aiden maybe not using any battery, just sitting back and waiting, as we are on the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. The winner's obvious, the P2 is not, as this still rages on. Mahavir is probably going to get it, because I don't think he's going to let himself get a penalty at this late stage of the race. If he does, he will be spewing. But he's coming up to the Degnas. It's the easiest place to get a warning on the whole track outside of maybe Spoon on old tyres, but here we go, Degna 1, easily on the track, and yeah, he's not struggling for track limits at all. He's pushing, but he's making sure he stays within the track limits, because he knows if he does that, it doesn't matter where he finishes on track, he gets the P2 anyways. Keithy, only 1.6 behind the two with penalties, so that is going to play a huge part here, as they are well within 3 seconds, so Munro might not even get a podium, nor Aiden as Raiden. We could see a Keithy podium in the Sauber, which would be huge for him. And Type N TJ, if he can finish ahead of Keithy, could get a podium for Alpine. So a couple of dark horses here in this race, just approaching at the end that we didn't see coming because of 2 penalties. But they're going wheel to wheel back here into 130. Type N gets that one done. And now 2.5 back to Aiden's Raiden. So that gap very much fluctuates. In the third sector, they seem to lose a lot of time to these three. But it then closes back up when they begin to battle. But here we go, Munnery for the move on Mahavir, who's actually going to defend this time, as Munnery's going to have to fight it the long way around. Will he be able to get this one done? It's the first bit of full racing we've seen into there, and no, he can't. The defense is stellar from Mahavir, who holds the P2 for now. So, this fight, it is the final lap of the race. I forgot to even mention. I didn't even realise. It feels like we still have plenty more to go. Munnery's going to try the inside of the Degners. Could this be the off-track? Oh no! As Mahavir now does get a 3-second time penalty. This is the battle we've all been waiting for. The gap to Keithy, though, is minuscule. So all three of these guys will be suffering as we head through the hairpin. We could see a Keithy and Taipan podium here on the final lap of the race. But as Abyss approaches the straight, he's going to pick up the win here. We'll go to him in a minute, though. He's had a pretty flawless race as Aiden goes off again, and it's all full beans. But just quickly to Abyss as he runs towards the line. He started from, I think, 3rd or 2nd place, and he's had a solid race. He's one of the a few drivers to not get a penalty, and he's going to pick up the win here once again. 5 in a row for Abyss as he takes it across the line. As here we go, Munnery to the line. He's fighting Raiden, who's trying to get the P2 on the track, but Munnery is going to take it on track for P2. But Keithy and Taipan are going to take the P2 and P3 of unlikely scenarios. I did not expect to see these two on the podium. It is a brilliant result for the two of them. They will be elated as Munnery will be spewing as he just misses out on a podium at the death of it. Mahavir in P6 won't be happy with the move at the Degners either. And Raiden won't be happy either with the P5. I'm sure he really wanted the podium, but the penalties played into it. Then we have a couple of drivers here. So Kuistra, Clammy Kid Dark, SV, Talion, and Grateful Dog. Very disappointing races for them. As Italian, Ramen, and Grateful Dog find themselves both out of the points. SV's result will be counted from before. I'm sure he just left a bit too quickly, as Ramen had a 10-second time penalty. We'll run you through the rest of your grid in a moment. I'm just gonna get the boys getting into the paddock VC quickly. Okay, so Abyss wins with the fastest lap, and then Keithy, Taipan, Munnery, Aiden, Mahavir, Kuistra, Clammy Kid Dark, Italian Ramen, Grateful Dog, SV, Martin, Ladozi, Tyler, Globdrip, and Tata round out your result. Let's now get interviews underway. Let me just quickly jump into paddock. Okay, so we have 2 of them. Where is Abyss? Chase him. We have all 3 of them now here. Alrighty, so we'll start with P3. Who was P3? It was Taipan. Okay, I wasn't sure which way you two finished around. Okay, Taipan What a race from your stellar performance, P17 to P3. How do you feel about that one?
I don't know how I did it. I, I don't understand how I did that. Well, I just feel amazing about that race. I don't know what happened. I was going around the outside of people through turn one sometimes, and then I was getting hit into corners, both going off the track, then coming back onto the track because I was getting turned in on, and then those safety cars, that last safety car, I probably wouldn't have been in the top 10 if it wasn't for the last safety cars. Or probably, well, I just don't know how that race would have turned out, but I'm so happy right now. And I finally got a good result for Alpine in Tier 1 after a lot of lackluster performances. I'm just gobsmacked how that race turned out. I was just thinking, they're within 3 seconds because I saw Aiden. I didn't know Manry had a penalty, and I saw Javier had a penalty. I saw Aiden had a penalty, and I was like, before that even happened, I was like, I feel like we can catch up to these guys if me and Keithy work together, but it wasn't happening as much. But then that big last corner, last two corners, just brung us right to them, and they all had 3 seconds, and we just capitalized, and I'm just happy that we could.
Yeah, and then obviously you had a great battle with Keith there at the end, swapping positions. You just lost out. Can you explain that battle? Because I wasn't watching it too closely.
To be honest, I was just happy to be there because I did not think I was going to be up in the top three, and I was just thinking Keithy had a bit more through me in the corners, so I was just thinking going on to the last lap, just so we can maybe get a bridge to the top three. I just wanted to make sure that he would be the bridge first because if I was going to be there, I don't think I would have been able to make a move. So I was just trying to make sure by the time if we ever got to them that he'd try be ahead of the both of us because he would be able to make the most impact. So I knew I wouldn't have been able to make an impact unless I made a dive bomb from 5 car lengths back, and that would not go over well in the stewards. So
Yeah,
um,
there's gonna be a few things that don't go over well in the stewards. I think Ladozi, your teammate, is gonna be very much the center of attention in the stewards room for tier one. He caused absolute carnage with his wing damage. He just decided to shove everyone off everywhere. But
yeah, well, I'm glad he let me through when I got up to him.
yeah, no, he murdered just about everyone up and down from P2 down to P8. So yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. But yeah, great result from you. And we're now going to move on to Keithy, and hopefully I see you again soon. Type in.
Hopefully.
Righty now, Keithy in P2. Great result from you, mate. It's a good drive to pick up the pieces with people with penalties in front. How do you feel about that podium?
I feel pretty good. I feel like I could have been in it for the win, but I made some strategy mistakes earlier in the race. Got a 10-second penalty, pitted about 5 times to get rid of them, and just tried to keep it clean till the end. And Typhoon really helped me out. We DRS trained together to catch up to the guys with 3-second penalties, and we had a great battle before that. So yeah, it was a really fun race, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, and then obviously you had that great battle as you talked about the DRS training. Did at any point you think that you weren't going to finish ahead of Type N, or were you pretty confident you'd be able to pull it off?
I kind of let him through on the second last lap at 130R because I'm like, I kind of want to get DRS here and get back in front. And I was also doing it so I could use all the battery I saved to get closer to the guys in front. But I wasn't really too worried about that. I was just worried about getting on the podium because I saw all the penalties.
Yeah, so great race from you, mate. But I don't really have too many questions for you because
Yeah, there was that good battle in the middle of the race with 5 cars. That was pretty fun. But yeah,
yeah, alrighty. Well, great race from you. Hopefully this isn't the
thank
last
you.
time this season I end up speaking to you here in the box. But we're now going to move on to once again the man of the day. He never ceases to amaze us here. But Abyss, you've taken home the win for the 5th time in a row. It looked like you would have had a challenge there, but you got very, very lucky, I must say, with the safety car. Otherwise, you would have had a big, hungry other 3 or 4 cars to battle you. But how are you feeling with that win?
Yeah, solid 2 laps practicing. I've been in bed the last 2 days and honestly wasn't gonna race, but I was like, I'm not here to fuck around.
Can't lose the
And
win
that,
streak.
no, that's exactly right. Glad I shut up because I got 26 points, and conveniently SVY ended up in some sort of issue and only got 6 points. So 79-point lead is looking good.
Yeah, so I think that because Zonix wasn't here, I think Taipan will now be P2 in the standings. So he could very much end up somehow being your championship rival despite your massive lead. But
No, it'll
yeah,
still be SVY.
yeah, well, in a few once he takes the position back, yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, great race from you, and you just look unstoppable.
Oh, Ladozi the GOAT.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I can't lie. It would have been a very difficult race there. I think Munry and Mahavir, all of them had great pace, but Ladozi was not messing around. He basically killed everyone from P2 down to P8. Gave them all some form of drama. Gave you a 5 second.
I mean, I had to put myself in that position first, no, you know?
Yeah, true.
It's not all luck. I've won the first 5 rounds, so,
Yeah. Well, anyway, you might have had a little bit of a battle ahead of you, but you pick up another win easily, and once again, domination from you. I'm sure the minority of fans are happy to see it, but I'm sure the dominance, as my little rip-off article said, will end up boring the fans. But great race from you, mate. Alrighty, that is going to be all for tonight's ORL proceedings. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next week. And let me just quickly check what the track is, because I am actually not sure.
Belgium.
Thank you. We have Belgium next, so we'll see you in Belgium. And yeah, good night.